gonna make money for all of it.
Oh, yeah.
Think so?
They're doing good. I asked him yesterday what percentage, he thought they were 60-65% done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now. it
They're
is pretty-
heating the building,
Are,
they're heating.
how are they? Okay.
That's
We ready?
We are.
Yes, Carl. Would you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We got a special meeting today. Augie, would you call the roll, please?
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Ellis, Farnham,
Yes.
Lawton,
Here.
McCarty,
Here.
and Voigt.
Here. Is there any public comment? Okay, I'm gonna skip down to the airport so Tom can boogie if he needs to get going. Go ahead.
Before you, I think Jeff kindly has supplied you with what is known as our 10-year plan. This is a requirement the state has to keep us in their funding graces. You also have a color-keyed diagram, which is nice. I don't have that because my copier won't print in color, so.
Borrow mine.
No, okay. We just finished up last week our project for this year, which was to install a landing aid on one runway. We have two runways, but each runway has an end and a beginning, so there are two numbers for each runway. So we replaced one of 4 old landing aids with a new one. It's called a PAPI, which stands for something which I can't remember. And it replaced a PLASI, which stands for something I can't remember either. The new one is state of the art. The old ones were there when I got there 10 years ago, so they're very old and archaic.
What do they do? The landing?
It's a landing aid. If you come in as a pilot in an airplane, there's a specific slope that will help you to land the plane.
The lights turn colors.
Something along that line, yeah. The old ones did that. The new ones,
Lights change colors on,
The old ones.
The old
I'm-
ones,
I'm
yes.
on
used to old
the
ones, but
thing that's sitting out there.
so if you
on
saw the wrong colored light, you are
If
on
you
the
see
wrong
red, you're on the
approach
wrong angle.
slope.
Okay, all right.
Doesn't mean you can't land.
Mhm.
It just means, hey, pay attention to what you're doing, you know. The new one, I can't tell you how it works because we're not allowed to operate it yet. The FAA has to come in and do what's called a flyover before we're allowed to turn it on. And that hasn't happened yet.
You might tell them that we have to pay them, what, 8,000 or 10,000 bucks for that flight?
It was a little over 10.
And then later on, they rebate it.
They will pay us back,
Oh,
they say.
they say.
Okay.
wow.
So it adds to the frustration when you have to put up with things like that, but what are you gonna do? They got the big money. On your color keyed document, you can see our main hangar, which is in green. And you can see, as you go down the listed projects, the colors tell you where it's going to be. And none of this is set in stone. It's just a plan, and we modify the plan annually with the state and with the FAA and with our engineering firm. Our next project will be to install lighted wind cones. There'll be 4 of those, one at the end of each runway, and then one main wind cone, which will be larger than the others. Our local pilots have been asking for these for years. At one time, the airport did have wind cones at the end of each runway. The FAA made the airport remove them. They were not up to standards. So the new ones will be up to standards, and our local pilots will certainly appreciate that. After that, we have another project which possibly could happen next year, and that is to replace the collapsed under drains underneath the main runway. we resurfaced the main runway last year. And when that was completed, we had some bumps in the new runway, which were attributed to the fact that water is trapped underground and was causing the bumps. Fortunately, the bumps disappeared, and our engineering firm is pretty confident that we need to replace those under drains. Other than that, there's no point in going further because, like I say, the plan is subject to change annually, if not more often.
So according to this, you have no projects next year?
No, next year, we're going to do the wind cones
Okay. I just-
and then the
The
under
second and
drains.
third one.
Pardon?
On your printed list, David.
Oh, okay, okay.
The other thing is eventually we're gonna have to advertise for our engineering firm.
Yeah,
We're not gonna mess with that this year, but it's something we're gonna have to do next.
we have to keep an engineering firm on retainer for the next projects that could happen in the next 5 years. It's just merely putting out a bid and, there's no money involved. We just have to select someone who's qualified to be our engineering firm for any new projects in the next 5 years. Just a red tape formality.
Just wanted to bring you up to speed, and Russ was there with us, so trying to get him acclimated to what's going on out there.
I must apologize, I haven't been to a meeting. In July, I was on vacation. Then my employee, Dave Bristow, was on vacation each time in September, October, and November. So I haven't seen you all in quite a while. But
How long has Dave been with us?
30 plus years, I can't be accurate, 30 plus.
Just to let you know.
Yes,
He's a very dedicated individual.
you better believe it. Lucky to have him.
Any
Thank you.
questions to Tom?
Tom, is there a chance I could get a copy of what was handed
Yeah,
out?
just hand him
Oh,
that
okay.
along with the colored
Oh,
copy.
I've got, you want yours back?
No,
Okay,
just hand that to, I've got others at home.
Thank you,
sure.
appreciate it.
Okay. Lisa, did you want to, talk about the solar?
We don't have solar, do we?
I'm sorry, not solar.
Wind
okay,
and
Wind
battery
ordinance.
No, I don't want to talk about
Wind
solar.
ordinance and,
I don't hear anything about
yes,
solar.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so at our next study session on the 24th, we will, and I need to verify with Andy, I do have him scheduled by phone, to just make sure that we know what changes have been made to the wind and what's in the BES ordinance. And then we will hold public hearings on those on the 26th. 8:30? 8:45,
8:30, I would think.
okay. And,
We have a meeting on that day too?
Yes,
We do.
we have a regular meeting on
when we
that
vote
day.
on our budget.
Okay.
And, Augie, you have copies of the proposed ordinances and they will or have been distributed?
I do have them. When would they have come?
I was thinking that you did and it was a while ago.
Okay.
But I will have Andy send those out again.
You mean these aren't it?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, we
When
all
would,
got these.
who did?
We got these at a meeting. I don't know
It
why
was
else.
a couple of months
Yeah.
ago.
Okay.
So he hadn't revised them over.
No.
Well, that's what I was
Um,
expecting, the revisions,
but-
but
Okay, yeah.
I'll visit with him.
They
please,
haven't been revised.
No. The only thing would be is there was something on this last legislative session and I was thinking that there was.
So that was solar
No,
or wind?
Wind.
Okay.
wind and or best.
Right, the wind one was, to change the, fee. I know that was a big conversation. And Bess was not regulated by the state before, and I don't know whether it is now or will be at the next session. So I will communicate with Andy.
We don't have any company that will put wind in now, Edgar County, are they?
They have not
Is it?
officially told me, but I
Right.
will tell you, at 5 o'clock this morning, we could hear the one in Douglas County.
You could hear that one?
Yep,
Jesus.
we can often hear it, it depends on the wind and the humidity. We can hear it between 3 and 4, and this morning we could hear it at 5.
What's it sound like?
A low hum.
Huh,
Really?
Constant.
Jesus.
Imagine a grain bin. It's kind of that same sound. Granted, so we're as far in the county as you can get, so it's a whole county. And we can also sometimes see the red lights. You can definitely see the red lights on 71 in Indiana. And so just to give you an idea, it's like somebody's grain bins that are not close to you. It's just a constant hum.
There was a thing on Facebook the other day, showed the whole thing had fallen over. Whole
Yeah,
thing
they took one
fallen over.
down the other day in Pittsfield.
They did that
Yeah.
on purpose.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
intentional.
Okay.
And I know the ones up around, if you ever are taking back road, is that 136 maybe, from Bloomington, if you go to the airport and you go straight over, no, that's 9. And those were one of the first ones. And interestingly, the guy who gave the economic impact, I went to a program, an extension program, he had extension folks go to ISU to talk about that, and that's been like 25 years ago. So I have known who he is. He's been a proponent and involved in it since the beginning. And they're retooling a bunch of those, and it's good because you can see oil spitting everywhere. But, so, just to give you an idea that they are very much at the, if it was a tractor, you'd be doing something already. But they're retooling and repurposing, which is good.
Putting new ones up,
Putting new motors in.
new motors in the
Mhm.
tower.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Somebody want to put a wind farm in Edgar County?
Yes,
Where
they
at?
are, Dan. 2.
Where at?
Across, well, 2 of them are across the north end.
Pardon?
2 of them
South
are
of Ridge
across-
Farm,
2 of
just
them are
across the county line.
Okay.
And over at Sidell. And then there's still some talk about one down around Grandview. But
Yeah,
if they're
maybe
gonna do
that.
1,000-acre solar, that might
Yeah,
prevent a
Okay.
wind farm. So,
It's a hell of a choice.
pick your poison. So,
do we have to okay the wind farm? That's come
Yes, we
through?
do, Dan.
Okay. Okay.
that's why we have an ordinance, and it would go through the whole process that we just went through a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
It'll all be the same. So,
That's ridiculous.
it's your rubber stamp.
It's a rubber stamp, and we spend hours, and we pay attorneys hours.
Well,
but we get reimbursed.
we get reimbursed on that. The only attorney's out fees that we are paying are to create or update an ordinance. Anything that has to do with a specific project is part of, gets paid out of that upfront fund, upfront fee that they pay us.
And the roads down south handle bringing in those blades?
Well, that would be part of the whole road use
Yeah,
agreement,
yeah.
yeah.
Some of those roads aren't too good shape, plus the bridges.
I don't anticipate down the north up that ridge is, that's where the wind is. that's
And
where-
they'd be based in Vermillion and just slide over into Edgar.
Okay.
So, and Vermillion is a totally different animal than Edgar. So. Anything else? I just need to talk to Andy, get clear with him, but that's the plan.
Anything further on that right now? So these haven't been updated, so Andy will update them if we need to.
Yeah,
And then we'll get a copy to you, and he will be available to outline what those changes are to these.
and he may decide, and I really do kind of yield to him, he may decide to come down on the 26th for the hearing in person, which would be a cost to us, but you've experienced him, you know, it's better to have him talking about it than us muddling through.
Okay, anything else on wind and or best? Then we'll move on to the budget. If we have to go into closed session to talk about personnel, we can do that. Remember, we can't go into closed session to talk about general personnel, but if by department or individual, we can, okay? So, Augie provided you with a copy of the budget.
This is the new one, or the old one? Tell me about the new one.
The new one.
Okay.
If you turn to the first page where you see 2025 appropriated budget, that would be like 3 pages in, or, yeah, 3 pages in. Everybody there?
2026
appropriated
2026
budget?
Oh, 2026, yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Right.
All right. The very top there, it says property tax received. That has dropped to 1.338 from 1.45. Then you turn a couple of pages to, page 3. There, it is labeled. Thank you, Augie. Page 3. You notice at the very top, the top figures transfer out to 841, says 6,000. That was 36,000, because we have enough surplus in that account in 841 to cover charges for the next couple of years for the clock tower. Okay? But I wanted to hold that position open, so I just left 6,000. We don't have to transfer it, but it's there. So in case I get hit by a train or something, everybody remembers that that's there. Then we go to, I think it's the sheriff's budget, and that should be around page 7, I think. Yes, page 7 is where we want to look at in the second to the last item. At the bottom of the page says sheriff's auto purchasing. We've got, instead of 75,000 there, we have 29,500. Now, depending on what the board decides to do, we're gonna have to meet with the sheriff and Jacob to let them know what we're doing here, in fairness and why. So we have not talked to the sheriff about that yet. Of course, the sheriff may be listening, so.
So, since you can't buy a new sheriff's vehicle for $29,500,
That is the final payment
That's what I
on,
was
on the
thinking.
one that they,
right, which is, I've talked to George down at Prospect Bank, and I double checked all of this, so we have enough. The 29,500 is within a couple of more dollars to cover that final payment. When we get police vehicles, Sam, we buy it on 3-year contracts, and that way makes it a little easier on us.
Then we get governmental pricing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I have a question.
Please.
Please tell me if it's not appropriate, but, when I look at, same page 7, I look at, Fund 326036, the sheriff uniform equipment flock. There's $40,000 in that fund. But when you flip the page, we have flock camera expense in Fund 7535 for $20,500.
It's an error.
Oh,
It should not say flock on the first one.
okay,
I'm gonna say,
okay.
It should not, and I keep forgetting to ask Don to remove that, but I will.
am I correct, this chief deputy sheriff line is, substantially more than what it was last year? Or the previous
we gave
Three.
him,
one?
we gave him an increase, I think, quite a bit.
For the last 2 years, it's been increased. Like 2 years ago, we increased it
Cause I remember
substantially,
when we had the conversation with the previous chief deputy,
correct?
and I thought it was about 10,000 less than this number.
Well, even more than 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't recalling incorrectly, you're saying.
It went up.
Nope,
probably 20.
How often do they change uniforms? That's a lot of money for uniforms.
Well, that
Probably in
covers
their contract.
24 people.
Oh,
Probably in their
okay.
contract.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
okay.
They
I didn't
all
realize
get
that many
a
people.
uniform allowance, all of them
Pardon?
do. They all get a uniform allowance
Okay,
for the contract.
okay.
It varies, the road deputies is more than the corrections and the dispatchers it even
I didn't
less.
realize that many people involved.
Yeah,
Plus the
And then-
sheriff.
right.
Yeah, well, actually, it'd be 24, 27 people. Because we're paying for the chief deputy
Right.
and the jail administrator and the sheriff also.
And I have a
Go ahead.
I have a question still on the sheriff's budget. We have sheriff's deputies part-time budgeted at $50,000. And we have road deputy overtime budgeted at $100,000. So we have $150,000 that we're paying in addition to regular salary. And if I understand correctly, they were given an extra deputy that they chose to place into investigations. But we're still budgeting for this amount? Shouldn't we reduce that by the salary of the extra person?
Carl, you wanna take that question?
Yeah, we should, but it never works, I
You know,
don't.
that's, their argument is, by adding an extra person, detective versus road deputy, there's two differences, but, they say, well, it'll reduce overtime. It never does. Cause, you hire a new person and they've got, depending on their longevity, 3 to 4 weeks of vacation, 13 holidays, 5 personal days, sick days. So every time, because of the contract, whenever someone takes off, you have to fill that position.
Correct.
I mean, you know that.
Correct. But I guess if we gave them an extra, if you all voted and gave them an extra position, and by management, this is a hypothetical question, they chose to put that into investigation, so they've got 2 investigators, but they're still having road deputy overtime. Why are we not pulling that one off of do we have that many cases that are uninvestigated?
Remember,
Not
this
in my
is an
opinion.
elected.
I know,
Yeah, right.
and I do
But-
understand that
but-
this is a management thing, but I'm also trying to say, I don't know that I could
Well-
approve that amount of overtime if,
Right, well, they have, when they had one detective, he worked Monday through Friday, with 10-hour shifts, they only worked 4 days a week. So now with the 2 of them, they, like on the weekend, I think there's 2 days of the 7 days that both of them are working. But they also act as, they handle calls also. Cause on the evening shift, they have 2 on all the time, but on the daytime, they only have a lot of times 1, so that detective actually sometimes is the road deputy.
okay.
And
And then
so,
you have the chief deputy there too.
and then they have the chief deputy and the sheriff.
Okay.
At times, they have sheriff, chief deputy, 2 detectives, and at least 1 road deputy. But, they fill in shifts. They don't just do detective work, they have to actually handle calls at times.
Okay.
But
And then I
This-
believe this fund,
what you need to, I was getting ready to say, that right there
yeah,
will
when
show you actually,
where they are year to date, and they're way, way over the budget that was budgeted.
well, in the
If I'm
past,
correct.
we haven't really probably haven't budgeted enough on some of those items. And we've kind of increased it in the last year or this year to reflect more of what reality is. Because you can look at,
Yeah, like road deputy overtime they were budgeted for 95,000, year to date they're at 110, so they're 115%
And
over.
they're doing good compared to the last 2
Yeah.
years.
And so,
Okay.
you split hairs there and you put 100,000 in the bucket, am I
right,
reading it correctly?
Right.
Same way with the part-time, we budgeted 25,000, we're at 60,500, so you split hairs and put it at 50. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm
Right.
understanding how it.
And
that
also-
We're
works.
not saying that's right.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you can't control staffing, I
Right.
get that,
But also, for almost a year, we had a deputy that was off.
correct,
And
Right.
with him being off, we had to fill all those
Yes.
shifts. A lot of it was at overtime.
Correct.
And also utilizing a bunch of part-time help, so that this year, some of that's reflected in what we actually spent because of, the being
Okay.
off due to his accident.
okay,
But yeah, we've talked that we wanna sit down, we met with the sheriff and the chief deputy, but we wanna meet with them again and go over things and, see if we can fine tune maybe a little more possibly. And
Yeah.
explain, where we're at and everything. Cause this could be revised even lower possibly.
We're looking for control, which we don't have totally. Right?
yeah, I mean, that's evident by the year-to-date expenses, so, thank you for explaining.
Question for next year. So sheriff, so we'll purchase another vehicle next year and end up doing a budget of approximately 30,000
No new, but no new vehicle.
for 27.
Probably. And what you have to realize, and I should have prefaced, I'm not sure we're doing right, okay? Because maintenance is gonna go up. We're knee-jerking
Yeah.
a response to what we went through last Wednesday. I mean, you got to not just think of this year, you've got to, and next year, you gotta think a couple of years down the pike. And I've got real concerns about where all this cutting is taking us. Because just like everybody else, if we're collecting X amount of dollars and it's equal to or not a lot greater than last year, we're losing ground. The taxpayers don't wanna hear that, but you're losing, if you're collecting 100 grand and next year only collecting 100 grand, you're losing 3%.
Yes.
And the levy the base on which we base the levy keeps increasing, and our share keeps decreasing. If you look at your tax bill, we're collecting 2 percentage points less than we were the year before. So, even though we're collecting more money, the levy is not where it needs to be. We can collect for the general fund 27 cents per hundred, and we're collecting 24. This would bring us up to 25, or almost 26, and we're still leaving a penny plus on the table. And quite frankly, you're gonna need this money eventually, and it's gonna be tougher and tougher to get. So, at any rate, turn the page, and then third item down is Flock. We actually got billed
8,
8. We got billed for 18 grand. They had, more money, they had a couple of more grand in there than that. So I knocked it down to 18, which saved us a couple of $1,000. 2,500, I think. Then we need to move to page, let's see, 11, the airport. Down there about halfway down is 7015. It has building improvements. It was 5,000, we dropped it to 2,000 just in case something came up. That was 3 grand, so with Flock and that's a little over 5 grand.
So question for you there. As Tom just discussed about improvements and such up there, out there. This looks like a pretty stable budget, but we're actually doing more than that.
None of that is
And it
included
is-
in this.
And it is all federal or state money?
It
Is that
well,
why?
No,
I see, and then I see page 21, where county farm and using that money.
right. Yes. We have several funding sources. We have the aviation fund, which is used to, that's 828 on this page.
So really, the fund that we're looking at for Fund 100 out of there is just pretty
Operation.
much operation.
Yes.
Okay.
It does not include projects on, like the runway and all that.
Mhm.
Our share, which is usually 5%, comes out of either the farm fund or the aviation fund. The aviation fund is strictly for selling fuel, and we take the surplus and put that into projects. And then the farm fund funds projects also, plus it usually gets the general fund, we get about 40 grand back that we transfer back into the general fund, because it runs that well, to offset the cost of $82,825. Questions? Then on page 14, we had a $36,000 surplus. We erased that surplus down to $5,070.
Sorry, what page is?
It's 14.
Okay.
Those are the changes that netted us a reduction in the levy, which is the second to the very last page. And that shows you the various accounts. Retirement, we dropped from 275 to 250 because we had a surplus in there that, I'll try to explain this. When we pay money out of any one of these accounts, like retirement, tort, or social security, we have to carry somewhat of a surplus, because at the beginning of the fiscal year, we immediately have bills that are due, and that's in December. And then we don't get any money from taxes, which is the sole source of income for those three funds, until August or September. So we have to go 9-10 months without any money income. So you have to carry somewhat of a surplus so that you have money to spend. Doesn't mean that taxes have to go up, but in the past, we've had to adjust a little bit. Retirement still has a fair amount in it, and the tort and social security funds are stressed, especially the tort, because we keep getting $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 increases in our liability premium. So, at any rate, so what we did have was at the very bottom, you see it's a 4.77% increase. That was 5.34, or I'm sorry, 7.34. So we have
7.34.
dropped it down to basically, what is that? I was trying to think how many, 2.5%.
On the county retirement tax, is that the line item that you're talking about? We paid out 225, and you've levied 225? I thought you said you levied 250.
Originally.
Originally, we
Original.
levied
Yeah.
275.
Right.
We
Okay.
dropped it by 50 grand.
Gotcha, okay.
And we still, it's gonna be tight, but that was where we could save 50 grand.
Gotcha, okay.
So, I mean, there are other things I'm sure you wanna look at, but I tried to make a stab at having talked to some of you individually, tried to make a stab at what we could look at to reduce that levy down to below the 5% and still get by.
So I have a question for you as I was going through here. Supervisor's assessments. So, you know, we've upgraded software this last year and, we shall have the aerial expenses. And I see that there's the GIS, on 836, which is that aerial. correct?
Yes, it's got
Okay,
50,000.
so, explain to me again, and I know you have before, where, I know where some of this income comes from. But I guess that's a good one to ask. Where does the money come from that goes into that fund?
The GIS.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from the sale of information to attorneys, to title companies,
Okay,
to businesses, to industry, to any number of people that seek information.
okay, so, is this an accurate statement that Fund 100, which comes from our tax money, everything else, comes from different sources that makes parts of those programs or parts of those offices self-sustaining?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm sorry. Say it again, or,
So Fund 100 being tax money, and pretty much, and some other sources of revenue, like state reimbursements for state's attorney, sheriff, and that. But otherwise, the money in the funds in these other categories, these other lines, are income generation from somewhere that makes our offices and departments somewhat self-sustaining.
yes. Yes, sorry, I didn't understand. Yeah, and some of those funds, and let's see, pick out. Well, Augie has certain funds, let's use that. The election fund and doc fees, and the certain clerk has certain funds that really can't be used for anything else except for those, even though they're outside generation or the money comes into those things, or into those funds, they have to be used for a specific purpose. So they do still offset some of the regular expenses that they have in Fund 100.
If they qualify.
But they qualify, yes.
And if
Is
they
that fair?
qualify, then you put them in here.
Mhm. I know there's probably 100 questions out there, so.
And then where do, I guess it's in our monthly report, like tracking for the public safety facility expenses, that's in our monthly report, but it wouldn't show up in our budget.
Not in Fund 100 or any of that, it would show up, let's see, that would be, well, the jail fund, for example, is the last one on this sheet.
Yeah,
It's 860, but the safety tax is 859. That's what's generated every month.
and that shows up when we look at our monthly reports.
Here's the safety tax right here.
Yeah.
I don't think it shows up anywhere in this.
Yeah, it's not on this one.
It's not in any of this.
Okay,
The
Not
fund
that I'm-
status, you mean?
yeah, because that's all Fund 100. So how do we see,
The balances in those,
Yeah.
is that what you're asking?
yeah. So we don't get like a monthly report that shows how much you paid core, and that might not be the best example.
Well,
think
you
that'd be
do,
this one.
because you see,
It's in the committee code
Committee
report in your
Committee
bills,
On the committee.
monthly. I don't know, I forget that number of the new jail
the
fund,
new jail is 860.
860. Yeah,
No,
and then there should be a
any of
fund,
this stuff can be changed,
I had
okay?
pulled out the wrong one. I was looking at the Fund 100, and I meant to be looking at the committee code.
yeah.
So your question about the safety tax is what now again?
So, as a more general statement on safety tax, where do I see how the safety tax money is spent? I know what we've said and what our policy is, but where do I see it?
That would be in here when we make bond payments, bond and
Okay.
interest payments. And if we transfer money out, which we do once a year, to the general fund to offset the cost in the sheriff's department.
Okay, right, that's what I was trying to wrap my head around.
Okay. So, the bond payments, bond and interest payment equal about 1.1 million, a little over that. And then the remainder of what we collect, leaving a little bit in that account, get transferred at the end of the year by the auditors from the 859 to the general fund into transfers. And the transfers would be, I gotta find the right page. We got too many here. They would be on page 2. Transfer, the very last item, transfer in reimbursements of expenditure. And it says 940 grand. There's various, that includes the 859 plus several other funds that get transferred into there periodically. And then that is represented in the audit also. So you see where funds have been transferred.
Okay.
Is that clear as mud?
Yeah. I guess I was looking up for the language and I wasn't catching it. So, reflecting on Wednesday's very interesting conversation. So, reflecting on the statement that safety tax money isn't being used for other entities within the county other than the sheriff. But where do I see, the new tower expenses and payment?
You mean the one sitting out here?
No.
The one that they're gonna do on Preston Road, right?
Right.
So we bought some equipment.
And
Yeah.
so that will show up in the sheriff's expenses when it occurs?
No.
No, because it's not really sheriff money, it's 911, the big
No,
911
No,
money?
no, it would be. Hang on. Of course, there's nothing in the budget for that this year, but it would have been included in 3, on page 3, expenses at the top.
Okay.
There was a category for expenditures there of 50 grand.
Okay, and where would that show up where does that money come from? Whose budget?
That's just an
Just
administrative,
general administrative expense.
right.
So,
And I think 911's paying for some of, well, no, we're paying for all of that, moving this equipment. Yeah, we paid for all that.
okay, so is that coming from general fund money then? So, see, it just takes me a while to put the words together. So if we didn't take that safety fund money and apply a portion of it to the sheriff, then we would be facing increased overhead from the sheriff, and therefore we wouldn't have the money to put the tower up, put the stuff up on Pleasant Road.
Or do a lot of the stuff that we do with the general
Right,
budget.
so it's an offset that's not a direct.
Yes, it's an offset, is a good way to look at it. If we didn't have that 700,000 coming in, this budget would look terrible,
Right.
Yeah.
okay? And I will state, and I don't care who's watching, never at that meeting or the way the bonds were written did we say that it would go other than for the bonds and interest for the jail and augmenting the sheriff's department, because a lot of what we heard at the two hearings, and Andy, you were there, were you there, Dan? I know Carl wasn't, you were there. We talked about, and we heard from our citizens that we weren't covering the county appropriately with the sheriff's deputies. And at that point, we only had, I think, 5 or 6 deputies. We now have 8 deputies. And we have, at that point, we had, what, 5 correctional officers, and we now have 9. I mean, we've done a lot. I think we've done what we've said we were gonna do. But, you know, whether we've done it as effectively as we can is something that we need to continue to work on. Because obviously there's improvements that always can be made to the expenditures of funds and the efficiency.
Meeting on Monday, last Monday, the one where
Yeah, and
we
I
voted
think,
on stuff.
I think one of the questions, or it wasn't a question, it was a comment
Comment, yeah.
that was made about Kansas Fire Department not receiving any public safety tax. They are a
Right.
taxing body in and of themselves. They get to tax their,
Right, right, so
Residents.
I guess what I was getting at with my train of thought on that comment was, your Kansas Fire Department is not benefiting directly from that tax, but when 911 tower is, when our 911 communication system is enhanced and improved, then you are benefiting. It's an indirect benefit,
And they
which is
are
actually
benef-
direct.
yeah, and they are benefiting, the village of Kansas is also benefiting from increased sheriff's department response
Right.
times to their location. Jail population having safe
Yeah.
ratios of inmates to officer, corrections officers. While it's not indirectly feeding the equipment to the fire department, they have that taxing capability in and of themselves, and you heard that gentleman speak that he was an advocate of not raising those taxes. And I understand that logic, but also like, you all heard the public say that they wanted a 1% safety tax to
Right.
build a public safety center, increase sheriff's department's deputies. I mean, if you look at the sheriff's department budget that we have here and what's coming in from the safety tax and the property tax, there needs to be some further discussion with the control of the spending in the sheriff's department, but there's no way that sheriff's department could operate that budget without that money.
Right.
Those people would be without jobs. Some of those people would be without jobs. Yeah.
And you need to remember that although that individual said that they hadn't raised taxes in 20 years or since he'd been there, whether that's true or not, I'm sure it is, but he has not had any payroll. They're free. He has not had to, I'm sure I don't know whether, I know like the Chrisman Fire
I think they're
pays-
paid volunteers per call or something of
Right,
that nature, sure.
but they have not, there's not anybody salaried
Correct.
in that department, which I don't know how they're handling increased in heating and cooling and fuel and all that, but that's, maybe they're getting grants, I don't know, but, if we didn't have any, our payroll runs about $150,000 every 2 weeks, so, there you go. When we got on board, when Carla and I came on board, I think it was $85,000 every 2 weeks, so. At any rate,
One of the, I know I brought this up to you all, before, and Lisa told me to throw my corporate hat out the window, and I appreciate that. But
Okay, I know, I
in
remember
looking
that.
at some opportunities, I understand while, it may not be feasible or popular, I just wanna pose the question. So I'm looking at the committee code report on, I'm assuming these are the checks that are written every month.
yes,
And so, looking here, one department is using Amazon for office supplies, and they have a $129 Business Prime annual membership fee. Is that something that the county could have the membership fee, and all of the departments could utilize that? Cause it does look like those office supplies, I appreciate their detail. There's some departments that do a really good job with detail, to your point. But some offices are using Office 360, which is much more expensive than Amazon Prime. But I wouldn't want every department going out and getting an Amazon Prime membership, because then it would be more costly. Same way with the copier leasing. Is that something that we could just speak to the department heads about collaborating on and trying to help save some funds?
we have tried to do that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely, simple answer is yes.
And I think that there's more opportunity now that the department heads are meeting every other month. There's been some good conversations.
IT has tried to do this. Used to, the budget they had a line item for all of this stuff. Each department for like computer and all that stuff, and we tried to put that in one basket. And of course, with varying success. You know, when you've got this many departments and you've got IT, as you probably know, doesn't always relate well to everybody, okay? So we've had some issues based on personalities rather than what's best sometimes, because they view service in different ways. I guess I'm trying to,
Yeah, I know,
dance
I get
around
what you're
it.
saying.
yeah.
Okay, I just,
Yes, there's a lot of opportunity there to coordinate and keep a tighter control.
well, I think if it's presented in the format of payroll has gone from 85,000 to 150, and we wanna continue to see that climb because we want to be able to continue to offer raises, we have to look at ways to consolidate some services, some contracts, some things to save us some money so that we can,
Yeah, cause like we buy a pallet of computers now, instead of everybody going out. I mean, at least I think we're still doing that. And screens and this and
Same,
that.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
program and the phone system and all these things, we've kind of roped into one. So, yes, we can do a better job.
Compared to a corporate setting, there is no central management. There is no,
I noticed.
yeah, and that is a huge difference, because if there was a central management or an administrator, that would be something that would be in that purview.
Yeah.
And even if we got that, I'm sorry.
they'd still have to buy in,
Yes,
Yes,
but it would be one person that would really focus on those kinds of things and say, why don't we have a central supply? And like, you know,
Yeah.
those are the things that are hard to wrap your head around.
Well, I'm glad we had that public hearing, I'm glad we had the good turnout, because I listened very carefully to what a lot of people said. And that is one of the things that one talked about Doge or, like the federal government did. I think, and there was other people expressed concerns with some of the departments maybe some of the services they were providing weren't necessary. So I think that's something that we need to seriously take a look at. I mean, we can't do it in a week's time, but over the next few months, sit down with individual departments and address some of the stuff that you just brought up and anything else in their department how we can make them more efficient. And maybe there's some things they're doing that maybe we need to cut back on. You know, we just need to take a serious look at all that, and next year, when we get, you know, address some of those concerns, and when we get ready to work on the budget, we can, you know, maybe accordingly reduce things a little bit. You know, I just think that's something we really need to focus on.
And
You
make
know,
good
and
use
it's,
of our
and it's not,
meetings.
and like Jeff, back, we were $1 million when we got on the board, $1 million in debt. And like I said the other day,
600,000,
we didn't
yeah.
do it by raising taxes to reduce that amount. We did it by watching our costs.
Right.
And to me, that's something that we need to focus on
600,000 on
now.
the red when we got on the board.
Do what?
600,000,
By the time you got on the board, yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
And how many years have you been on?
that'll be 12, 11 right now, it'll be 12.
So you guys made a lot of progress just in 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to hear somebody come in and micromanage that you
Right.
gotta get your paper from such and such place, but all of those things add up over time,
Mhm.
and if Kim is doing a great job negotiating a contract with paper at the Agri County Public Health Department, then maybe she can work with the treasurer's office and, you know, negotiate a lower contract based on increased volume of purchase, increased usage, you know, some of those things, anyway. Just
No,
looking for some
absolutely.
efficiencies, yeah.
And I don't know why, if we start now looking at for the future, we can't implement as we go along.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as everybody understands and can contribute their thoughts to it, I think there'll be better buy-in, as opposed to just saying, Augie, you're gonna start getting your, and he's the only office holder here. And we tell you, well, you gotta do that, and you go, why, you know, I haven't been part of this, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I mean, that's, you know, with elected officials, it's always been, and we've been pretty successful, but it's always been an issue. We just can't tell them. We have to say, hey, let's all get together and figure out what's the best way here.
And we've been doing, we started out with quarterly, and then the department heads asked to do it every other month, so now we're doing every other month. And I'm finished with what I think, I am finished with my part of that process of exploring strengths. We did a SWOT, and every time was a different one. And so we're pretty well done with that. I think we have more cohesion. We've had good turnout. That room it's fairly large enough, and that's great. And you guys come, and I think it's done a lot to add to the cohesion. And maybe this next year, the whole exploring is taking a look at efficiency, because we haven't gotten there. We had,
You gotta build a relationship first.
yes, and we had a lot of conversation on weaknesses, which, you know, I only facilitate. And Augie, bless his heart, is right there along with me, and he puts out the agenda. But they are team led. So that would be a perfect thing to do this next year. And by the way, Augie, it's probably already on your schedule to send out an agenda for next week, next Wednesday. And you were the point for discussion on bellwether, and who's coming? You don't know yet?
Not Bruce, the other guy,
Dustin?
Dustin, I think.
I think
Okay.
Dustin said somebody else was coming.
Oh,
Hang on.
okay.
Okay.
Well, you're,
I appreciate
Continue to talk
the
amongst
department heads
yourself.
that came to the public forum. I know Augie spoke up, so I appreciate that. Dina was kind of put on the spot and she spoke up, I
Yeah, put her on
appreciate
the
that. But, you know, I saw Taylor there, I saw Angie there, I just appreciate the department heads that came, because I hope they heard from the public too, the opportunities that potentially we have to show the public that we're being good stewards of their money. Or how can we show them that we're being good stewards of their money?
Justin Greeley will be there. Greeley, Justin.
And I went in and visited with, Nancy for a few minutes the other day, cause I hadn't talked to her in ages. And I'd said if she had questions for Bellwether to go ahead and I think, I'm not sure who she deals with now, but anyway, to, make sure they had a little time to meet with her afterwards, cause she had some more specific things.
Was Wiseman running for sheriff or treasurer again?
No,
I think he was, I saw.
we
the
have
list.
one person running for
Okay, I saw
treasurer.
that.
There are 3 county board races,
Yeah.
so. And of course the sheriff, that's a 3-way for the,
The other thing was, and I have reflected on this a lot, and you may have too, on, the need for a listening session. And I wanted to pose to you guys, should we start with, talk to Linda Lane and see about, Adam's availability and kind of back into it from there? What do you guys think of a listening session? But we can only do it if we get some of the other public taxing bodies. And that means some school superintendent needs to be willing to put her neck on the line.
well, that's not gonna,
And, well, either they're there or their ears will burn. And fire department in a city, and so I do think that a public hearing would be great, because was very clear, and I would have been the same way, a little less I'd like to think, about not understanding the different entities and the different taxes and who is responsible, and what is the process if you want something removed or adjusted. It can't just be one mad person coming in and saying, I don't wanna pay the extension tax anymore. But, I do think that the public needs to, have the opportunity to be educated. Now, will anybody come? I don't know.
I'm gonna stick my neck out here a little bit. I don't think we ought to participate in one unless the city does, in at least one of the school districts. There's no sense in that. I mean, because half of what people were talking about wasn't even in our purview.
Right.
That's right.
And that's why I'm like, oh, man. People
I mean, I'm just,
yeah, I agree.
and since you look down your tax bill and you pick out the ones, the top 3 or 4 ought to be there.
Mhm.
And maybe even the college. What do people even know that the college is offering? When was the last time you saw some solicitation from the college or any pamphlet in the mail that said what they're doing for us?
I get them for DAC.
I get them for Lakeland.
I get them quarterly for DAC.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I get a magazine from Lakeland, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
necessarily say
Yeah.
what's being done in Edgar County.
Right.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad, I'm with Carl, I think with everybody, I'm glad we had that thing.
Me too.
We probably could have avoided it if we'd gotten together, but I think we learned a lot, so I don't think it was a waste of time.
No, and I think people felt like they got their voices heard, they felt,
And sometimes you just gotta let them.
yeah, and I think it was just letting them talk for a little while, getting it heard, but then to Carl's point, I listened, cause I wasn't able to speak, sorry, but not sorry.
Well, you talked a little bit.
No, I mean in the first one, the big one.
Right.
But I listened and I took some notes, and I do think, like Lisa, one of the things that that I heard was, well, you have these meetings when people are working and they can't attend.
Yeah.
And the answer that I wanted to hear and I didn't hear was, okay, well, let's have them in the evening. Raise your hand if you're gonna come in the evening consistently, because it's gonna create overtime for him. And you don't want your taxes to go up now, but we gotta pay county employees, we gotta pay the lights to be on, we gotta pay this building staff to be, like, that, I hear you, and I hear what you're saying. However, what if we kept it at the same time, but, you know, not that I wanna live stream anything, but there was an option for, submitting the questions ahead of time, or submitting you know, public comment ahead of time that we could read, or have somebody read for you that we could get an answer to, because they are video recorded. Those are the types of things that I heard, but I am with you. I do not think that I would do a public listening session without the other taxing bodies, at least the major taxing bodies out there. And I do appreciate your comment of explaining, we only get 14% of your tax bill, and we're running all of these departments on 14% of that tax bill.
Yesterday was not my idea, and I don't know whether it was Andy, Russ's, or Carl's. But what would you think about having the first study session of the month, just before the regular meeting, which would be on a Monday, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon? It's just a thought.
I'm all for it.
Me too.
Yeah, fine.
That'd
I'm
probably
just-
be easier for you.
I'm
too.
just thinking, it would be a move to see how, and maybe nobody will show up,
Right.
Yeah.
but
let's
at
find
least
out.
we're making an effort.
Right. I
And that way, and that's a planning meeting, and we discuss the agenda, and we could actually, it'd be more effective if people thought about it, to actually influencing the board before we get,
Yeah.
the board meeting is only a business.
Formality.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that was my reasoning in bringing that up, was on that Monday, having it so they could have a chance to look at what's on the agenda, have any discussion with us, and then we can listen to what they said and think about things to make, help with our decision on Wednesday.
Wouldn't be fully what they're, I mean,
Right.
it would be a move to see if there was some value in that.
Right. I think we need to make the effort to do it.
Right.
So I thought it was an excellent idea.
Augie, you're instrumental in attending these meetings and getting everything set up for us, so what's your take on an after hours meeting? What's that do to
So-
your staff?
Well, they leave at 4 o'clock anyway, so it'll be me.
And by that time, everything else is gonna be done, right? So,
Yeah, you're talking about having it here or up at the courthouse?
well, we could
If you
still
wanna
have
do-
it here or the
I'd rather
courthouse.
have it at the courthouse.
I would too.
Then you have to have security, right?
Yeah, that would be,
Oh.
my office will be gone,
Okay.
But yeah,
and most everybody
there's
else.
costs involved with doing it,
There would be less cost here.
right?
We could start here, and if 10
it'd be
people
out
started
forever.
coming, then maybe we'd have to move it.
You could do it at the government
I
center
would say, what about the
too.
government center?
Well, we could, yeah.
Because you've got a bigger room there.
And we don't have staff there, the only
Bigger
thing
room
we
and more parking.
But then you got people that technically could be wandering all over the building, that's,
Well, you can lock the office doors though.
well,
You could also somehow block off, right?
I think,
There's some ability to
yeah,
block. So,
I think all you would need one deputy there, 5 o'clock,
courthouse
at the courthouse.
in the lower floor.
Yeah, and that way they can see what's going on if somebody's wandering
'cause they could watch-
upstairs or,
watch cameras.
And
Right,
see,
yeah.
they can watch that room we're in
absolutely.
from
Yeah.
right down there.
let's
I think
go
if
up
If you're
that-
gonna do it, my
Let's-
preference would be at the courthouse,
Yeah.
cause I'll be there.
Right,
If you need something from a file or copies or
Yeah.
what have you,
Yes.
that's just from my
Why don't we plan on
standpoint.
doing that the first
Do we
study
wanna do it
session
bef-
in December?
or do you wanna do it before can we do it before the actual passing the budget?
I don't.
Now,
gonna have to let
you've
people
already
know.
posted these meetings
Okay, all right.
annually.
I think
Starting next
In
month.
January,
Yep.
right?
the 8th
Yep,
The 8th
of December,
yep,
we'd start to meet at 5 o'clock on the 8th of December. Go
we
ahead.
gotta have, well, Aaron's gonna have his meeting, do you want him to be there like at 4:30,
Yeah, well,
or, he's not here, but,
we'll talk to him
Yeah,
and see what
but-
works.
that, we have to have that meeting,
Hmm.
I mean, that's when we normally have his meeting.
Yeah, we can
We
do
have
that.
it first, and then
Yep.
maybe at 5 o'clock, start our regular study session and get Aaron done before that.
Or if we have to, we could always split, if that doesn't work out for him. We could always have the Road and Bridge meeting at some
The
other
second
point.
study session- at the
Yeah,
second
because
study
we don't
session on here.
usually, that's not.
Well, but he lets us know about, he always has resolutions.
Right.
That's
He
true.
has to.
True, yeah, you're right.
Are these resolutions usually that time sensitive?
Sometimes.
Yes.
A few are.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably work it out.
Yep.
He's pretty flexible
Yep.
on his schedule.
Can we move the chairs around so I don't have
Yeah,
my back to
I was
the
just
audience?
gonna say,
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna,
need to
I didn't like
rearrange
that.
that
I'm gonna
room.
sit where I face
I
them.
like the face of
I
people.
don't like
We're
having
all
all these
the
people
sides.
behind me.
So,
Okay.
right now, the tables are like this, with chairs here.
Mhm.
What if we just put the tables like this?
Which would
while
make it
we're-
like it used to be.
Like we're meeting, and then we're here, Jeff is still up here.
Right.
But just turn, you know, instead of,
there's enough
instead of
room.
us
Turn
having
it
our
which
backs
way,
to Jeff.
Sam, which way?
Turn sideways.
Turn them
The way it
So
used to
we're
be.
facing like right
Straight.
here.
That's gonna be,
It'll be tight.
it's not going, there's a big table desk in front of the
Yeah, I'm
judges.
not
Yeah.
sure there's enough room.
There won't be enough room to turn those tables. I
That
get what
way.
you're saying.
Yeah.
I was
Maybe we
thinking
could
about
just stand
turning
alone.
them and having them
At an
angle like,
Angled?
Yeah.
like,
Oh.
so that we're
Kinda somewhat.
kind of somewhat,
Okay.
and then even
Like this.
the possibility of purchasing, I'm gonna spend some money, now, purchasing another table, if we could, if it would be collapsible, we could store it, and then we would have enough room, I don't know, maybe spread it out long ways, but have enough, well, what am I trying to say? Maybe up like that, some which way.
I
'Cause
think
just
even
not-
if you tried, let's just try this for
Yeah,
now, this
right.
angled with the, you know,
Angle.
3 and 3,
Right,
that,
yeah.
the tables are big enough for a, for a space for us to spread out, but I just didn't, yeah, I didn't like my back to the people
No, I
and,
know.
I
Yeah.
didn't-
and I didn't want my back to Jeff either, so.
Something else I noticed that when we had our solar hearing, you know, those, things that the attorneys stand at to put their papers on,
Yep,
what are
The
those?
podium.
Lectern, yeah.
or
Like,
electric podium.
there wasn't any in there.
No, they've got,
And when Seth, you know, he was over there on a little ledge, had his papers
Yeah.
over there in the corner on that ledge, little 6-inch ledge, holding his paper. There wasn't any place for him to, you know, actually put it and
Is
stand.
that what
and-
the table,
What happened to the one that was there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they moved it in one of the side offices.
Yeah.
I'll look into that and find out.
Yeah.
is that what the table in front of the judge's bench is supposed to be for?
I think they've
'Cause that's
sort of
kind of
left
an
that there
angled
for
table.
security, so that
Okay.
you don't get too close.
To the judge, okay.
Yeah, I think, talking to Ray, and, but I don't know. I'll find out where those,
It'd be nice to have that.
little-
Well, yeah, because if you're gonna have public comment.
You know, if they wanna
yeah,
come
that's
up with
someplace
some,
for them to stand.
yeah, right.
all right, thank you. We'll
Are
get,
we all good on that then?
I think
Yeah.
All right, so we'll, and,
we need to make that public.
well, can you put drop a little ad in the newspaper or something like that to, and make sure, come up with something online, an announcement that,
yeah, and I don't know, because you've already passed these meetings annually, there may be a longer time commitment or frame to post instead of 48 hours. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
well, can we, why
So,
don't we talk to Philip
I
and
will,
find
I'll
out
look at it,
what we need to do to change that?
yeah. If we can do it, great, if we can't, you may have to wait until you set the dates and times for your next year's
Next-
meeting.
next
Have we
week.
done that yet?
Yeah.
No, we do that in
In
December.
But you did it last
In
December,
January, yeah.
that you said that the meeting was
Can we
gonna be
do
in
that the
December.
next meeting?
In November.
Absolutely, we could,
Well, let's do that.
okay.
I mean, if there's time. Have you got
I'll,
time?
yeah, I'll look at the statutes and see, since you've already posted it, I'll figure it out and I'll let you know.
All right.
Thank you, Augie.
Do we have anything else to talk on the budget and on the levy? Is everybody satisfied? I mean, let's not, is it what we've done acceptable to pass, or do we need to do more work on it?
I think it's fine. I figured as long as it's below 4.9%, I'm happy. I mean, that's
It's
not gonna
better.
kill people, it's not gonna kill
It's
people. but-
One thing I wanted to point out on the county board portion of it, I know currently, it's at 20,000, and it's raised to 29,000. That's a 21%, well,
Which one of them is up, I'm sorry, which line item?
It's Department 35,
Yeah, I understand that.
but, I don't know what page.
Committee meetings.
Yeah.
Committee meetings?
Committee meetings, yes.
So that's an
Very
increase in the
good.
number of
Same old thing.
face-to-face meetings that people have been having this year.
Right.
And we've had, a lot of it, quite honestly, has been the jail. I think that's a big increase. Next year, hopefully it'll slow up.
And I'm pretty active.
But, I guess, we trying to cut some of our other departments, and here we are raising our portion 21%. That's probably the biggest increase in all the departments in the whole budget.
Well, remember when we did the thing a year ago, we raised it by 42%,
I understand.
from $35 to $50. That's a 42% increase.
Yeah. I don't know that 29,000 is necessary. I'd like to cut it back. I know currently, as of 2 weeks ago, we'd spent 24,000. And I would like to, my personal opinion, bump it back a little bit.
Well, my
So do
hours
you
are
guys
up.
think you'll be attending fewer meetings? Because I will be attending the same, probably.
And we're gonna do a lot more meeting on the budget this year,
Yeah.
and
Mileage-
training.
Mileage has gone up.
Yep, mileage has gone up to 70
Which is
cents.
good.
In 15 years, I haven't turned in a dime of mileage, so I contribute my portion, and normally I,
Well, yeah, you drive a lot farther than I do.
yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I can see that.
That's just my opinion. I'd like to lower it, but
No,
that's my opinion.
Would
I earn money.
25,000 cover it? We've spent what
we
this
earn the
year?
money.
At the rate we're going this year, it will spend
24,
26,000.
That's not gonna break us up,
No, but,
no.
You
we've
want to
asked
cut 3 out?
a lot of different departments to make some sacrifices. I feel like we're no different than them. We make some sacrifices.
We don't make
What's your
much.
pleasure, guys?
That's
That's
just
fine.
my opinion. You guys,
Okay, I'm fine, if you want to. I don't know,
We'll take a
I
couple
don't
of grand
know.
off of it.
couple grand wouldn't hurt.
I mean, we're gonna spend what we're gonna spend,
exactly. I understand that.
but it does show that we're making an effort. I'll go ahead and take 2 or 3 grand off of it, okay? I got no problem with that. Well, you still can look at it, we can still make changes from now till the 26th, so take a look based on what we've heard and what we've talked about today. I'll go ahead and effect that one change.
Yeah. And we will meet with the sheriff and chief deputy and take a look at their budget and see if there's,
If we can do something, we'll do it.
yeah.
What's the recourse?
Go ahead.
No problem.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You got the committee assignments. I'm gonna throw out some thoughts. And we can, Road and Bridge, Ludington was on there. We put, Sam there. Animal Shelter, Lud was there. I'll take Lud's spot on the animal shelter. I've never done that, so I'll do that.
We have 4 meetings a year, I think, on this,
I think I can do that.
yeah.
Public Safety, Sheriff, ESDA. At this point, I thought it'd be important to put Russ on it officially.
On which one?
On which one?
Public safety.
Public
Oh,
Safety.
okay.
On budget, I would like to stay on it,
Yeah, I think you should.
but do you wanna stay on that committee, Carl?
if you've got someone else that wants to do it.
Well, I was thinking about, I think Lisa, do you wanna stay on it?
Yes.
And I was thinking about Sam.
Yeah,
Yep.
they have more experience than most of us, so.
And
Yeah.
Carl, I think you're really important on there. If, even if you back off on part of it, you are still so vital on sheriff and 911.
On animal shelter, you not wanna be on that? Do you wanna take Phil's coach?
I was gonna do that.
Yes, I
Okay.
was gonna do it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm
I
Well, you're
just-
gonna be on any, you're not gonna be on any committees.
Yeah, the first one, Road and Bridge.
If you wanna be on budget, yeah. I'll still express my tightness.
Yeah. Thrifty.
You'll still squeak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your thriftiness.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thriftiness.
Yep.
And then on airport, I was gonna put Russ and me on there.
We used to have 3 people on that committee.
Well, we'll just go as, you know, it's kind of a
Yeah, right.
one person, but it makes sense to put Russ in there. Chamber,
Chamber never calls me anymore. Back when Linda was covering for, doing that part-time, they had honorary people, affiliated that were not members, like us and, Community Foundation. We went quarterly, and whoever's in charge of it now, I
No.
haven't gone to anything in ages, cause they used to send me the invite.
okay. All right, county offices, Ellis, Sam and Voight.
Mm-hmm, that sounds good. And
Uh,
Carl, I know you
Oh,
attend those
you got 3
sometimes.
people on
and-
that one?
Well, we're going to.
Okay,
If we wanna get collaboration and work
Okay.
to some of the opportunities and savings, I think it's gonna take, some work.
Well, and I agree with some of these changes, like Jeff and I, and Mr. Bringer, we're not gonna be here
no, right.
a year from now, so,
Right.
some of you other members need to,
Start
Yeah.
learning about it.
Learning
Yeah.
it.
And we can be there as needed,
right,
okay? The regional education office that Phil took part in, they have a meeting, I think, every couple months down in
Charles.
Charleston. So I don't know who would be interested in that, but we need to have,
Mr. Bringer, you
I'll
want that?
do it, I'll do it. If I know where to go,
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know where to
I'll
go.
call them and let them know and have them contact
Time
you.
and place and all that,
Yeah, or Augie can maybe help me out on that.
If it's something I can go to, I will go to so that I can learn from you.
Mhm.
I don't mind going to it, I just don't, I don't
know
have
what
your
they-
education background,
I don't,
so.
I don't know what they do anyway. I have no idea.
I went to it for years until
Good.
Lud wanted to do it.
He gets
It's,
paid mileage and paid for the meeting, gets a free meal, so.
I was gonna say, they give you a meal sometime.
Yeah, it's,
That's why you're going.
Yeah, mileage, paid, and free meal.
I don't need the mileage or the meal, I just like to know where taxes are.
Samantha,
Yes, sir.
what about, how are we doing with, I'm sorry, I can't think of his name, Jesse.
Yes.
Is he still, living outside of the county?
His residence is in Tuscola. Mhm.
But he's given that up. But you said he spends more time at his parents', he's actually living at his parents'
Well, he
house.
spends more time at work than he does anywhere,
Well,
which is in Edgar County. He spends the majority of his time in Edgar County, and he does, because of his position, need to spend nights in Edgar County, but his residence is listed as Tuscola. But I have a question about that.
Go ahead.
Being on the board I can't find anything in the statute, and I'd like Philip's recommendation on this. I can't find anything in the statute that says residency,
I asked him, I haven't heard from him yet.
is a requirement of
on the
the board.
911
On the
board,
nine-
it doesn't say they have to be, it just says emergency responder, obviously, that's
Yeah.
what he is.
Yeah, and his primary, place of work is this county.
Right. But I don't know
in
whether
emergency response.
There's a bigger picture somewhere in the statute that says if you're on any board, like a county board, whether, not county board, but, a county,
Appointed board.
that you have to be a resident of that. I've never seen that, but
I've never
doesn't
seen
mean that it doesn't exist.
That's
but-
why I want Philip.
Right,
Jesse is willing to join the 911 board. He has a lot of contribution to give to that area.
very good asset.
But he wants a ruling from the state's attorney in writing that he's eligible to participate.
I'll touch base with Philip.
Yep.
Make sure we get something here before, in less than a week.
Yeah.
He is actively searching to move closer, but the
He told me.
opportunities are limited.
Okay. Anything else to come before the meeting this morning?
Yeah, did you
Yes.
already talk about 708 and public health? You just, I mean, you've gone down the list here. I didn't know. Well, Lisa does a great job at them, but I
I
didn't,
was gonna leave it the
just
same
leave it the same. Okay,
at this point. We can't make, I mean,
I understand.
You guys aren't gonna be, you're gonna still be here till, for a while.
all right, motion to adjourn. Russ moves. Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I think this was a really great meeting. Thank you all.
Is there anything about the high school having problems with the finance